What it do? Welcome to the J-Boy Sports Podcast. Please like, share, and subscribe if you enjoy the content. If you don't love the content, you can still do those things because you could always help a brother out. And helping a brother out is easy because a brother would help you out. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of our fantastic videos. And hang on towards the end of this video to check out some of our other fantastic videos that are suggested, and we know you'll love them. And lastly, make sure you hit up that comment section so we can have conversations and debate about sports because ball is life. With that said, Michael Porter Jr. Michael Porter Jr. is one of my favorite players in the league. And it's not because he's an NBA All-Star and he's just better than everybody else. Listen, he's good. He's been better. Wasn't as great last year. Still good. But a conversation that does not get had about him is what are his true abilities? And what do I mean by that? Well, I'm not going to take credit for this thought. I got it from Mel from Man Down Sports. And one of the things that he says, he talks about Joker, right? Now, I'm a fan of Joker. I like Joker. I don't have a problem with him. I've never done a video on him on this channel, really, because he doesn't really give you any material to talk about, to be honest with you. He doesn't really give a lot of sound bites. You know, he's a by-the-book type of guy, which is okay. But Joker, in my opinion, requires a lot of, he requires you to play in a system that really highlights his abilities. And then also, when you play with Jamal Murray on top of that, if you're MPJ, they like to run a two-man game. So when they're running that two-man game, there's not as much room for you. And I think that's what Michael Porter suffered from a little bit. The talent is there. I mean, he's a 6'11", 6'10", 6'11" guy with long arms, a high arcing shot. You're not gonna block him. I remember watching the Lakers play him 2 years in a row. LeBron couldn't do nothing with Michael Porter Jr. in the corner from the threes. If that's the guy you got to guard, you can't help off of that. So if LeBron's playing power forward and they got him at power forward, there's nothing he can do. He can't help off that. By the time he gets out there, he's already shot it, and he's way up in the air over the top of even LeBron. And LeBron's not no small guy. But Michael Porter Jr. has a lot of skills. And unfortunately, I don't think he could use all of them in Denver. I don't think he could. And that's not a shot at Joker. That just is what it is. And I give that credit to Mel from Man Down Sports because he's the first person I ever heard or saw that actually said anything about that. You know. But that's the truth. When you play with guys like Russell Westbrook, LeBron James, Luka Doncic, Joker, these triple-double masters, it sounds good in theory, but then you realize that people around them sometimes suffer. It just is what it is. And I'm not pulling this out of my behind, because he mentioned it himself. Let's listen to what Michael Porter Jr. had to say about his new opportunity joining the Brooklyn Nets.
I'm really excited for this next chapter out here in Brooklyn. I think over there in Denver, I felt like my ceiling had kind of plateaued. We have a very we just have a way of playing, and how Joker plays, how Jamal plays, that two-man game is very potent, and that's how we play. And I'm so appreciative of the way we play. We end up winning a championship, but I do feel like my ceiling in Denver kind of plateaued a little bit, and I'm excited for this next chapter in Brooklyn for sure.
So I've always kind of thought this, but I agree. And like I said, Mel from Man Down Sports said this first. And he's just telling you, and he's never said it publicly before because, he was part of the team. But now that he's leaving, he can be honest and say, listen, I'm not going to badmouth those guys. We won a championship together. We're, hopefully they're friends. But at the end of the day, I can only do but so much in that system. And that's the truth of it. Michael Porter Jr. coming out of college and high school and college was insane. I mean, he had some back issues and that limited him specifically in college. But I remember watching pre-draft stuff and he was cooking people, man. They couldn't do nothing with him at his height and his ability to play off the dribble and shoot. They really couldn't do nothing with him. And he went like 10th, I think, overall in the draft, but he was a top 3 pick. He just hurt his back, and people didn't want to take a chance on him. Remember, the Clippers passed on him. A couple other teams passed on him. But I think now, if he's going to be something, which I think he could be more than what he's shown, I think now's the time, and we're going to see if he can put his money where his mouth is. I can't say that I guarantee he's going to be like an all-star level player. I haven't seen enough of his abilities to just jump over the hill and say that automatically. However, I'm not against it. I'm not against it. But I'm going to have to see him get stronger at the point of attack. He's built more like a Kevin Durant, but he needs to be built more like a Giannis, in my opinion. So is he going to dedicate himself to the weight room? Because he's small. He needs more strength. And I think that'll take his game to the next level. He's definitely got to attack the basket more. He's got to get more rebounds. He's got to pass the ball a little bit more. I'm not saying you got to pass all the time. My favorite player is Kobe Bryant, so I'm not going to sit here and tell you that, to me, passing is the end-all, be-all. But if the opportunity is there to make a play, you got to make that play. And if you're not hot, you can't just shoot every shot. Some of Kobe's biggest plays are passes, like the one to run our test where we needed something because they were doubling and tripling Kobe all day in the finals in 2010. So there's a time for everything. And I'm interested to see how Michael Porter is going to grow. I also, I've heard his podcast before. I like the way he carries himself overall. He seems like a respectful guy. And I give him a lot of credit because he's going through a lot of crap, man. He got 3 brothers at least that I know of, and all 3 of them are in on some stuff, man. He had a brother that got in trouble for vehicular homicide, so he's sentenced to 6 years in prison. He has a brother that was basically banned from the league for betting, which is so stupid. I don't understand. I don't understand that, man. And that's why, look, I'm not telling y'all what to do, but the Bible says you shouldn't be gambling. And before you call me a Bible thumper or say why I got to bring that in or hey, listen. I know nobody wants to listen, but at the end of the day, that's why I don't gamble. What good comes of it? Who's doing much better because they started gambling? You let me know. Get back to me. Hit me up in the comment section. Who do you know who's doing much better because they gamble all the time? They got more money. They got more women interested in them. Life is really taking a turn for the best because they're gamblers. I don't see that often. And especially in his brother's case, it cost him millions of dollars. All he had to do was just play basketball, man, and he messed that up. What type of greed? And that's gambling. I'm sorry, gambling is crazy, bro. Like, what type of like addiction do you have to where you're already gonna make millions if you can hang around for a few years, but you wanted to make millions faster and gamble? I guess. I don't know. Make it make sense. And then he has another brother that got in trouble for driving under suspicion of the influence. And I don't know if it's around the same time that the one got sentenced to 6 years, but if it was, that's dumb. Like, learn. Learn from what's happening to your family directly. So, with all those things said, I like Michael Porter Jr. I think he's going through a heck of a lot with his brother's situation. It's just sad. He seems like he comes from a good family, got a good head on his shoulders. Tries to give God his glory, and things happen anyway. Whether you give God glory or not doesn't mean bad things ain't gonna happen to you. That's just the world we live in. But yeah, I feel bad for him. Probably feel a little bit worse for Aaron Gordon. His brother died in some type of accident, and Aaron just looks sad, man, when he talks about him. And I don't mean that to make fun of him. I mean that as in, I genuinely feel bad for that brother. Like, I'd want to give him a hug. And normally I tell people the world, especially for a man, is not about hugs and kisses, and it's not. But there are some times when even a man really just needs a good hug because his stuff is falling around all over him. You know what I mean? There's times when that helps. So, with that being said, what do you think? Do you think Michael Porter Jr. is going to take it to the next level? You think he's going to reach new heights? Or do you think that he's talking out of his behind? We shall see. Please like, share, and subscribe. If you enjoyed the video, make sure that you hit up the comment section. Let's have a conversation. Let's debate, because ball is life. Make sure you hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of our great content. And lastly, please make sure that you hang on towards the end of this video to catch some of our other great videos that we know you'll love. Thank you very much for your time. Really appreciate you. Very humble. Much love. That somehow you never get over leaving